Good afternoon. So, today we will see the first unit electrostatic of subject electromagnetic field theory. So, the first unit consists of the points like review of 3D coordinate geometry, vector calculus, physical significance of gradient, divergence, curl, electric field intensity, displacement flux density, Gauss's law, electric potential, potential gradient, EdV due to uniform source, point charge, infinite line charge, infinite surface charge, Maxwell's equations, current density, physical interpretation. So these are the points which we have to cover in the first topic. So first we will see the introduction of electrostatic. So what is electrostatic? Electrostatic is a phenomenon which is associated with a static charge. An atom in normal condition is electrically neutral because positively charged protons and negatively charged electrons are equal. When we say that the body is charged, it means that it has excess of charge either due to the electrons or due to the protons. By the law of conversion of charge, the charge cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, but simply it can be transferred from one particle to another. When electrons are transferred from one atom to another, the first atom becomes positively charged and the second becomes negatively charged. And there exists a force of attraction between the two. And this force is called as electrostatic force. So here diagram is given which shows the objective is expose the students to the basic law of electrostatic leading to the Maxwell's equation for static field, then 3D coordinate geometry, vector calculus, physical significance of gradient, divergence, curl, then electric field intensity. So these are the points which are related to this first unit: electric flux density, potential, Maxwell's equation, current density, intensity. Physical interpretation is outcome is that they apply the basic electromagnetic principle and determine the field due to the given source. So the review of 3D coordinate geometry. Here it consists of introduction to the scalar and vector, then scalar notations, vector notation, also unit vector, 3D coordinate geometry, Cartesian or rectangular coordinate geometry, circular cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system. So, in general, the physical quantities we shall be dealing with in electromagnetic are functions of space and time. So, in order to describe the spatial variations of the quantities, we must be able to define all the points uniquely in space in suitable manner. And this requires using an appropriate coordinate system. A point or the vector can be represented in any curvilinear coordinate system which may be orthogonal or non-orthogonal. So in orthogonal system, the coordinates are mutually perpendicular to each other. In electromagnetics, the following three orthogonal coordinate systems used are Cartesian or rectangular, cylindrical or polar and spherical. So the first one is Cartesian coordinate system. Now, the Cartesian coordinate system is also known as rectangular coordinate system. In this system, three coordinate axes x, y and z are mutually perpendicular to each other. The right-handed Cartesian coordinate system is generally using in electromagnetics. So here point P in this coordinate system is defined by the three coordinates, that is x, y and z. Here we can see the point P in the second diagram, that it is defined by the three coordinate systems, that is x, y and z. So point is also defined by the intersection of three orthogonal surfaces. The surfaces are the finite planes where x is constant, y is constant and z is also constant. And the last diagram shows the unit vectors. Then the next is circular cylindrical coordinate system. The circular cylindrical system is three-dimensional of the polar coordinates. So here the point here point P, here point in this system the point P is defined as P in bracket small p q, or we can say rho q, phi and z. It is shown in the second diagram. So the point P is the intersection of three mutually perpendicular surfaces. The surfaces are, one is circular cylindrical with constant radius rho, second a plane with constant angle phi, and third a plane with constant z. So point P and unit vectors in the cylindrical coordinate systems are shown in the second figure, and in first the three mutually perpendicular surfaces of circular cylindrical coordinate system. The third is spherical coordinate system. In spherical coordinate system, the point is defined by P in bracket r theta and phi. It is shown in the first figure. So we can notice here that r is defined as the distance from the origin to the point P. We can clearly see here r is the distance from the point of origin to the point P, or we can say it as a radius of the sphere which is centered at the origin and passing through the point P. Now theta is called as the collective, is the angle between the z axis and the positive vector of P, and P, the phi is measured from the x-axis. So the point in spherical coordinate system is the intersection of three mutually perpendicular orthogonal surfaces, and these surfaces are the sphere with its center at the origin, the radial distance r from the origin to the spherical surface is constant, and a plane with a constant angle phi. It is similar to the angle phi in cylindrical coordinate system. A cone having its vertex at origin and with its surface symmetrical about the z-axis, since the angle theta is the angle that the conical surface makes with the z-axis, the surface is denoted by theta is constant. So these are the three coordinate systems: Cartesian coordinate, cylindrical, and third one is a spherical coordinate system. Next is the relation between the Cartesian cylindrical and spherical coordinate system. So here is the relation between all these coordinate systems. So the equations are given. Next is the representation of the vector in coordinate system. First equation for the Cartesian coordinate, second for the circular cylindrical coordinate, and third one is the spherical coordinate system. Next is the vector addition, or we can addition of vector from the parallelogram law. So here C is A plus B, or we can say B plus A. This is cumulative law. Associative law is that A plus into bracket B plus C. We can also write it as in bracket A plus B plus C. This is associative law. Next is the vector multiplication. So dot product is here given two vectors A and B. The dot product or the scalar product is defined as the product of the magnitude of A and the magnitude of B and cosine of the smaller angle between them. So A bar dot B bar is equal to mod of A bar into mod of B bar into cos of theta AB. Now here what is A bar? It is AX. Here A bar is given. So this is the representation of the A bar, and B bar is given. Now small x So next is the application of dot product. So to determine the scalar or the vector projection of vector in a given direction, here the scalar component AB of A bar along vector B bar is given here, and the vector component AB bar of A bar along the vector B bar is also given. The diagram for the this dot product is also given. Next is the vector multiplication. Now cross product. The previous two was the dot product. Next is the cross product. So for dot product we have used cost. Now for the cross product, A bar cross B bar is mod of A bar into mod of B bar sin theta AB A n cap. So this A n cap, it is a unit vector which is normal to the plane containing A bar and B bar. We can write this A bar cross B bar A cross B as a determinant AX AY AZ A capital AX AY AZ and BX BY BZ. So differential elements in coordinate systems are Cartesian coordinate. Here differential elements in the coordinate systems are given. The first diagram is the differential displacement, second differential normal surface area. So dl bar is dx ax bar plus dy ay cap plus dz az cap, and differential volume dv is dx into dy into dz. These are just the equations which we have to use while solving the problems. Next is the this is Cartesian coordinate. Next is the cylindrical coordinate. Differential equations in the coordinate system with cylindrical coordinates. So here also the differential equation for the displacement, that is dl, is given. Equation for the differential volume is also given. So it is equation for the differential volume is dB equal to rho into d rho into d phi into dz. And third in this is differential elements in coordinate system of spherical coordinate. Here the differential displacement equation is given, that is dl bar is given, and differential volume is dv equal to r square sin theta dr d theta d phi. So these three slides shows the differential elements in coordinate system like Cartesian coordinate, cylindrical and spherical coordinate, and it consists of displacement equation and volume equation for different coordinate system. Next is the next this diagram shows the vector calculus, that is for the line integral, surface integral and for the volume integral. So the equation for the line integral is given here. It is the integral of tangential component a bar along the curve I. Then closed contour integral. Equation for the surface integral and volume integral is also given here. Next is the vector differential operator. So here equation delta bar is delta by d x of x cap delta by dy delta by dz. So it consists of gradient of scalar delta v, divergence of the vector delta dot a bar and curl of the vector delta cross a bar. Next, the physical significance of gradient, divergence and curl. So, what is first? What is gradient? Consider a scalar function phi which represents the temperature. So then, according to the definition of gradient, delta phi represents the temperature gradient, and it is the rate of change of temperature with distance. So we know that the temperature is a scalar quantity, so it is having only magnitude and not the direction. But gradient delta phi is a vector quantity which is having a magnitude as well as direction. So in this case, the direction is the direction of maximum rate of change of temperature. So here Cartesian coordinate system, delta bar is given for cylindrical coordinate system also and for spherical coordinate system. So gradient is denoted by delta. And what is divergence? So here gradient is given. The gradient of the scalar field V is a vector which represents both magnitude and the direction of maximum space rate of increase of V. So here equations for the Cartesian coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system equations of gradient are given here. Now the vector operator delta is actually defined as delta is d by dx of x bar d by dy plus d by dy of ay bar plus d by dz of az bar. Now the operator delta can operate on scalar as well as vector. When delta operates on scalar, it is called as gradient, and when the dot product of the vector with delta, it's called divergence, and cross product of the vector delta is called as curl. This operator delta can operate on scalar as well as vector. When this delta operates on scalar, then it is called as gradient, and the dot product of the vector with delta is called divergence, and cross product of the vector with delta is called as a curl. Next is the gradient of scalar. So here the magnitude of delta V equals the maximum rate of change in V per unit distance, and delta V points in the direction of the maximum rate of change in V. Now equation for the gradient of scalar is given here. Next is the divergence of the vector. So the divergence of A at given point P is the outward flux per unit volume. As the volume shrinks, about P. So consider V be the differential vector point function, and then the divergence of the vector point P is denoted by the divergence of V bar or delta. So the delta V is the volume enclosed by the closed surface in at point P. So here equation of divergence A bar is given. Next is the divergence of the vector. So here diagram shows the positive divergence, negative divergence and the zero divergence. Now the divergence of the vector in different coordinate system. Equations for the divergence in different coordinate system is given here. First equation for the Cartesian coordinates, second for the circular, and third one is the spherical coordinate system. So in the next lecture we will see the next part.